for the stewards to look to, and also we have a message from our friend Jake in the chat saying best of luck to us, and he wishes that wishes us the best because he can't commentate.
Yeah, get better soon, Jake. Hope you rest up, and hope you're back well joining Liam next week, because we want to have you back next week. So I'm sure you will get to witness a great race anyway as well. And this is interesting. I'm wondering why the drivers were going in early for their laps. It might just be me, but I'm seeing a sprinkling of rain.
It's not just you. You're not the only one seeing the rain. I can certainly see it as well. So it's going to be a scramble to get over the line ASAP on a soft run.
Yes, so the 112 that we would have been expecting from Jay Fletcher, we're not going to get that, because that's what Jay Fletcher did in practice as well. And for some of these drivers in the pre-race interviews, they were hoping that it wasn't going to be raining as well, and because some people do wet practice, like Tom Robbo, and he was probably hoping for that. And for some of them, they just do dry practice and that's it. Rimpe actually puts 50 laps of practice before every race, which is quite a lot, but if you want to succeed in a high tier, then you've got to put that level of effort in as well. So it looks like the order's going to stay exactly as it is, which is a bit of an anti-climax to qualifying, but you sometimes get qualies like that, and it's looking bad if you're the likes of Verheyen. I guess he just wants to get a lap in as soon as possible. At least he'll get ahead of F1 Farf and Tom Robbo if he gets a lap in.
Yep, he might get ahead of Ryo Mahoshi as well, if he's lucky, but it's quite the challenge now if he wants to put in get a good performance. He's going to have the strategy on point and have the pace as well. As I said, some of the drivers putting in 50 laps of practice each week. That certainly shows the commitment from everyone in this tier to be at their best every week, basically.
Yes, and it just shows I only practice for like a few hours a day, mainly because I just like to have the fun really as well. But speaking on the Constructors' battle, I do believe the Constructors could be potentially won tonight, maybe, potentially as well, because obviously the gap, the maximum points you could get is around 38 points, and if the gap's less than that, it could potentially happen as well. Potentially two titles could be won tonight. Unfortunately, our stats man has not done permutations for the Constructors' Championship, so we have to do the math on that front. But Nick's doing very well in third place to help his team out further, because last week we only saw the likes of Joe Fletcher and mainly, I think, Scorpion help in their team out. Maybe Chris as well at some cases. Scorpion actually goes second fastest in the rain, and the rain just may stay as it is at the moment, as two of the teammates are helping each other out. You are allowed to give slipstream, of course, and that might have helped Scorpion in the run up to turn one. And I say run up to turn one, and potentially this DRS straight here is where the tow could be given as well. We do have a yellow flag, which is showing why these conditions are a lot harder. That is Rimpe, unfortunately.
Yep, as F1 Farf has retired from the session now. Must have been in the pit lane because the rain might be coming down a little bit heavier now. And going back to something me and Jake discussed last week with the Constructors' battle, I think for Mercedes it's not it's not really down to Jay Fletcher as much as it is to how well Nick does to back him up, really, because we all know Jay Fletcher's one of the top guys in this tier. But his teammate Nick has got to back him up as much as he can, really, if they have a hope at the Constructors' title.
Yeah, don't forget, Nick has had a win this season in Brazil, where there was a late safety car, which threatened Bryn's chance for win, because he had a penalty to live up to, which was a bit of a shame, because he could have got his first win then, but that allowed Nick to take his first victory. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see his reaction there, because he forgot to share his voice, but if he does get another win this season, let's hope it does happen. And as you've noticed, he's changed his gamer tag. He recently joined the ERT esports team earlier on in the week as well. So let's see the help and support from his newly joined esports team may help him pick up the pace a little bit.
Yep, we'll see what bounce this gives Nick this week. So hopefully with some more people behind him and maybe a better setup and stuff this week, and maybe a few more tips from guys, he'll be able to be up there with his teammate possibly.
Yes, indeed, as Casper's going on his outlap as well. KK's trying to do some on the mediums. I think the rain is going to probably stay as it is, but it's still going to be quite slippery. So some of them may just be staying in the pits for a bit longer, or they could be trying again. But I doubt no one is going to go faster than a 1:13.2 in these conditions, to be honest, as well. And whilst we're having a little bit of a moment in qualifying, we'll talk about the hot and colds for this week. The hot was Dan Murphy, who took little time to establish himself in position, but scoring just 2 points in Britain, he made a large step and took a win in Vietnam. And the cold last week was Chris. Was the first time this season that Chris finished a race outside the points. And apparently, according to the Discord chat, that he was the Ferrari that got in contact with Tom Robbo that ended his qualifying. So that might be a trip to the stewards, I think, at the end of this race. The stewards will probably be a lot busier already.
Yeah, simply because of all the rain. Well, the rain at the moment, which doesn't look to be getting heavier. So it just looks like a light shower, not heavy enough to bring out the intermediate tyres, but not enough for anybody to improve much, really, on the times. It's going to be a lot more people struggling for grip now in these conditions.
Yeah, looks like it for now, as we got 1 minute left. Nosey, both McLaren drivers have retired from the session, unfortunately, so they're not going to have time to set any lap times that they would have wanted at this stage, as we've got, I think, Riley Byes, he's about to start his lap very soon, coming for the S's, and yeah, a lot of people have retired from the session there, and it's starting to fall a little bit heavier than it was before, but not as much. Chris is about to start again as well. Jay Fletcher's not going out again, but why would you waste time on tyres which you're probably not going to use? Yeah, I think it's going to be probably the end of qualifying now.
Yeah, we've got Scorpion going up the second DRS straight towards turn 4 and 5. And going back to what you're saying about Jay Fletcher, yeah, there's not really any need to waste the tyres that could be more useful in the race, depending if anything goes wrong or not. So you don't really want to be stuck on worn tyres from qualifying.
You definitely do not, because I've experienced it a lot of times in, I think it was Britain one race actually. I spent quite a few times on a used set of tyres, and it just, sometimes it helps you, sometimes it does not. And especially a track which has higher tyre wear and the softs don't last as long, then this is a track you definitely do not want to do it on. So we'll have to wait and see what these guys could do in the race. Luckily, the track temperature's a bit colder, but it may get warmer towards the start of the race. Because again, we do not know what the weather's going to be for the race. Usually I like to keep that as a surprise, but usually there's something going on in the chat as Riley buys a spun. So is Scorpion somewhere as well. I think Scorpion retired in the pit lane. Coincidentally, Riley retired at the same time. So that's Riley's qualifying session done. And yeah, KK though has benefited from a few people making mistakes. He's got one of his best qualifying sessions of the season with a P11. So could this be on the up for the Renault boys?
Well, we'll find out in the race. As well, Okeke in 11th, he's going to have the free choice of tyre. Well, everyone's going to have the free choice of tyre now because it's rain. Actually, no, I'm not. What am I talking about? Only the outside the top 10 are going to have the free choice of tyre now because they've all set laps on the dry tyres. So that could play a part in Okeke's race tonight. So maybe he'll go for the harder compounds of tyre off the start compared to the others and see how long you can take it and do the reverse strategy.
There was a few people that tried it in the other tiers. For some of them it worked out very, very nicely, but for some of them their tyres were dying pretty much towards the end. So something to be made aware of there. Don't forget there is a compulsory 2-stop rule which they had to follow. OneHubRacing. Luckily, hardly anyone's forgotten it in precision this season. It was quite a prominent thing in precision last season for a lot of people to forget. But luckily, it hasn't happened here. So, we're going to go through your qualifying results. We've got Jay Fletcher on pole, with Scorpion in second, Chris in third, Nick in fourth, Nosey in fifth position, Casper in sixth, Riley by seventh, Rimpe in eighth, Hainen in ninth, Hindle in 10th. Then we got people that got free choice of tyres: KK, Kieran, Schnitzel, Jonas, Dan Murphy, Ryan Mahushi, Farf and Tom Robbo. Farf and Tom Robbo did not set lap times, of course.
So we are waiting for the session to end and move into the race as we eagerly anticipate what the weather is going to be for the race, as nobody's yet spoiled it in the chat, surprisingly, which is...
I think it's going to be a dry race if they don't spoil... because my PS5 loads pretty quickly, I've already know what the weather is.
Oh.
Yes. It is raining. It's going to be a wet start to the race, and it carries on my curse of every time I commentate on a Mexico race, it rains at some point. So that's probably continued my streak a little bit. So a bit of a shame there. And whilst we wait for the session to begin, we may as well talk about our sponsors, Liam.
I will let you do that just now, as I will hunt through the Discord chat quickly to see if...
Okay, I'll let you talk about it at the end then. I'll talk about the ones I've got at the moment. So we've got Next Level Racing, who will be sponsoring the league by providing wheel stands at the price of the Going Gets Tough Award winners. Basically, the Going Gets Tough Award winner will be be randomly drawn to the person who's finished outside the top three, attended every race, and has completed all their media day stuff, which is their pre-race and their post-race interviews. We also have Vespertine, who are supporting our championship prize, and also a clothing brand as well. And we also have Liam RBS, who also is sponsoring our trophies. So to our top three in the drivers, and our winner of the constructors, and obviously the one for the commentators championship. And our final sponsor is Time to Print 3D, where you could get 20% off this week's track on their Etsy store using the code OneHubRacing. So there we go. So those are your sponsors. Luckily, everyone is being good in terms of not readying up, because obviously you've got to wait for Scorpion. Hopefully it's not the lobby playing any hookies or anything, but... LEM, early thoughts on who you think is going to win this race after seeing the conditions that the drivers have got in front of them?
I'm expecting, if the rain stays through most of the race, I'm expecting good things from the McLarens again, because they showed last week in the wet that they have the pace in the wet, and Jay Fletcher struggles quite a bit. So we'll have to pay attention to that, but if it dries out towards the end, don't count Jay Fletcher out, I must say.
Definitely not as well. And I've just been informed by the chat, thank you to Tom Wobble that said the wet start, and apparently it's only meant to be a wet for the start and dry for the rest of it. So that's probably music to Jay Fletcher's ears, I have to say. At the moment, he's starting on pole position. Don't forget, if he is where he is at the moment, he will be winning the driver's title, and the maximum points you can get is pretty much 38 points. They've got one with the fastest lap as well. So if they get the gaps of 38 points or higher, Mercedes will be constructors. If Jay Fletcher finishes on the top of the standings tonight, no matter what his rivals do, he wins the title. And his closest rival, Tom Robbo, is in last place. So that's going to make things a hell of a lot easier for the other drivers. We're just looking at the tyres. They're all on the intermediate conditions. So at least that's one job for us, so we don't have to look at what tyres people have gone on.
Yeah, definitely. We don't have to try and work anything out in our heads at the moment as to what's going to go on. It's just pay attention at the start and watch for people sending it into turn 1, really.
Yes.
Because turns 1, 2, 3 and 4 are going to be hot zones, especially on the first lap, with people sending it left, right and centre.
Let's hope that no one has chosen a default setup, because I run a default setup around Mexico in the intermediate conditions, and it's not the best situation to be in as we speak. So hopefully they got setups geared towards these conditions, which I think probably will be hard. So I think most of these guys will be going for a dry setup due to the fact it's going to be dry for the most of it. And if you want to find out how your favourite driver is doing in the race, you could use the TAS system in the chat by doing !help, and it gives you lovely commands on what you could do as well. And you can ask how many penalties people have got, you can ask what tyres, how long they've been on the tyres, etc. It's a lot that you could do to help in the race, and it also helps out as well, because we both got a dashboard that we could use as well. So yeah, turn 1 is going to be very interesting to say the least, as all the drivers are waiting to, well, basically going to line up on the grid now. Not much holding up unless you're far
spread out. Quite spread out compared to usual, I have to say.
Probably due to
a little
the wet.
bit more spread out. Yeah. I don't think the wet tyres might drop off in heat as much as the dries, but you'll have to correct me on that if I'm wrong.
Well, I don't know, because I haven't driven well, to be honest, if you overheat them too much in the intermediate conditions, it does it does get worse. But it's going to be less cold, less hot. So at least for some of them, they're going to be on less heat in their tyres at the start. But anyway, the 5 red lights are coming on. Jay Fletcher on pole, Scorpion in second, and we already got a drive-through penalty for jump start. That's F1 Bob. It's a decent start from Jay Fletcher, who is on at the inside line, which is not what you want. You ideally want to be on the inside line. Scorpion side by side heading towards turn 1. Everyone's trying to make as many positions as they can, and he also tried to get a good start as well, but he's got the other Ferrari, Chris for company as well, heading towards turn 2 and now heading towards turn 3. Looks like the Ferrari now P2 and P3. Verhaenen's also had a good start, but it looked like an Alfa Romeo was sliding all over the place as Schnitzel. And we got almost 3 wide between OKK, Kieran, Dan Murphy as well, trying to make up some ground too. This is going on fire at the moment, but looks like OKK's being swamped for positions, as obviously last week's race runner is trying to get past.
Yeah, Nick also got a good start in the Mercedes, but when he got to turn 1, he got swamped by both Ferraris and stuck on the inside line. So Jay Fletcher looked to have had the better line with the outside line through turn 1, and has already managed to build himself up a second gap on Scorpion behind, as there's yellow flags as Real Mahoshi is spun in the Haas.
Yep, and it was in the S's, which is quite a lot of people have binned it in the last few races, so it is to be expected. But what an unfortunate start for the Haas team, who got quite close to winning a race in Abu Dhabi, of course, but unfortunately they missed out. But Jay Fletcher now leads by 1.1 seconds, but the timing glitch is not going to help me with the deltas at the moment. But Jay Fletcher's got to make sure he keeps it penalty free for now. But despite him being in the wet conditions, he's not doing too bad at this stage. As F1 Faf goes into the pit lane for his drive-through penalty. At least he's going to get it out the way so he can carry on for the rest of this race. He's going to drop into the back of the field though, which is not what he wants.
Yeah, definitely not. You're not really wanting too much. I think we might have an issue with the timing. Yep. Again, because according to mine, F1 Farf is now leading the race.
I think it will reset it once he comes out of the pits, I think, which it hasn't yet. So that's a bit worrying. So hopefully it will sort itself out so we can actually see who is directly behind as well. But I'm going to actually see the position changes from the drivers once everyone has sorted themselves out. Looks like the top 5 stay where they are, but Eva Hannon has gained 3 positions. We got a yellow flag. That's okay, Kay. Unfortunately, I think commentators cursed him. I said he had a good qualifying. That hasn't materialised, unfortunately. He's dropped it down to 16th.
He's got front wing damage as well. Look at the front left end plate on that Renault. He's got wing damage, so he might have to come in and change it now. So you have well and truly gave him the commentator's curse this week.
He's going to hate me.
And that will continue to... Yeah, you've added to his bad luck even more, it appears.
Yeah, and we're in the management chat as well, so I know KK's going to be shouting at me, but I think we're probably going to be joking about it, so it's going to be fine. But I'm seeing he's going into the pits. I'm looking at his damage. Oh, he's 100% damage on the left. So, yes, he definitely has to come in now as well. All he's going to hope for is a early safety car. Meanwhile, Nosey, 3/10 behind Nick at the moment as Nick tries to hold on for P4. We have to say Nick is doing well in these wet conditions. Somehow F1 Far has picked up more damage, 44% on his left front wing as it seems, which is a shame. So he has got a lot of work to do if he wants to go back into this race as well. But it looks like the rain is here to stay for quite a bit, but don't forget it's not going to stay that way as it seems, unless the drivers are lying to me.
I wouldn't be like the drivers playing tricks on the commentators, but we'll have to keep an eye out as we've got more yellow flags, as I think there's been a little bit of contact between Dan Murphy and Tom Robbo as well, who's looked to have spun round, and has front wing damage to his the left side of his front wing, and it might be, well, he's definitely going to have to come in and replace that now, so this will be music to Jay Fletcher's ears at the moment, hearing his main title rival is going to have to pit at the end of the 4th lap for a new front wing.
Well, basically, he can finish 3rd or even 4th at the moment because his rivals are nowhere near the positions they needed to in order to take the fight into Japan. Tom Robbo has added more woes to his day. He's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in at the pit lane. Oh, that is a shame now. I kind of wanted him to take the fight to Jay Fletcher, but it looks like Jay Fletcher today is going from good to great at the moment, and it looks like that he's going to get his hands on a OneHubRacing trophy, maybe 2 at the end of tonight if Nick could get past 2 of the Ferraris, but strange things have happened, of course. We've got Knowlesy still chasing him in the S's section, and you don't really want to be sending it in the S's section in these conditions for sure.
No, I've discovered, well, in the dry conditions, that it's not exactly the best place to be right on the back of somebody, because you could be about halfway through the S's section and then suddenly they're so much slower than you and you've got nowhere to go. Tom Robbo's now retired from the session. So
if Jay Fletcher stays in the points, Tom Robbo's out of the fight of the championship by looks of things. Where does Jay Fletcher need to finish if Tom wants to stay in it?
Might not need to score points. I don't think he'll have to score points.
Yeah,
he'll have to not score points, basically.
Actually, if Fletcher does not score, Tom must finish 9th or 10th with fastest lap. So, yeah, Tom Robbo is out of the championship hunt just by that one retirement. What a shame.
At the most bad time as well. Second to the penultimate race of the season, and you're having problems really with and you choose now to have one bad race when the title championship is on the line, but Jay Fletcher looks to have no sign of making any mistakes at the moment, and it's just keeping it calm and collected going through the S's section now. So we've got a little group now, a little bit of a train starting to form behind Nick, who's fallen behind both Chris and Scorpion. So the Mercedes driver is starting to form a bit of a train behind him, but if he continues to get a decent run off the final corner, not many people are going to be in a place to trouble him into turn 1.
Yeah, I think so as well. You can see, I think, from Nick all the way down to Riley Buys, this train is forming at the moment. And I have to say, fair play to everybody. By lap 6, no one has got any penalties, which is probably a miracle. I'm guessing they're keeping it cautious as Riley almost went off. But his teammate is coming into the pit. I'm seeing Taz as well. People's tyre wear is starting to get a little bit too overheated. They're in most of them, they're in almost in the 40-50% in the rears. So, dry tyres for Casper. So is the rain not enough for people to stay on the intermediate tyres? Is it too early for Casper?
I think it's a bit too early for us to tell from the commentary box. It's really got to be up to them to what the drivers feel comfortable with on track. And if Casper feels he can get the dry tyres to work, then maybe this could be a genius strategy call from the Williams boys. But if not, this will surely be brought up to the Williams
It's perfect. It's
lobby.
perfect. It stopped raining. It's absolutely perfect. How on earth did he do that? He just made the call just right. You sometimes got to take gambles sometimes, and he took that gamble, and he's probably going to gain quite a lot. Now, looking at the pit loss that you lose around this track, you use quite a bit, 20 seconds, and I'm just looking at the gap to leader.
Jay Fletcher staying out. Everyone else staying out at the moment, it looks like.
Oh, so maybe slippery, but it is dry though, so...
Riley
goes in.
in the Williams. Kieran is in as well. Rimpey in the AlphaTauri, and Schnitzel. Followed by Dan Murphy and Jonas. So some of the lower down guys in the top in the points are taking the gamble for dry tyres and a box for softs.
Ooh, why softs, I wonder? That's an interesting call. Ooh.
Maybe they're just going with the default strategy to being given, or maybe because the track
DRS enabled.
is quite... Yep, maybe because the track's not got that much grip on it. Maybe they think they can maybe get the tyres to stretch a little bit further and then go mediums, but I think the guys who have picked for mediums may have the right strategy call here.
Yes, and the one who's leading that is Casper, as he still has a bit of a slide there, so he is struggling just a little bit, but you do see the DRS enable sign, and the one that's leading the dry train is Riley by, so he's probably happy with that as well. But it's probably not going to make a difference to whether they come out on track, because the gap is more than 20 seconds, so Jay Fletcher somehow is still going to come out in the lead of this race, I think, with Scorpion in second.
Chris is going to have to stay out. Chris is going to have to stay out.
So does Nick as well.
They're going to double stack.
Does Nick, or would you lose more time staying out than pitting? We'll have to find out. I think Nick's done the same. Nick's done the same.
I think Nick might be far enough. I think Nick might be far enough behind to get away with the double stack, but the Ferraris certainly weren't.
That was pretty much almost perfect for the Mercedes team, but that may have dropped Nick a few places, which he has. So that is a shame, because he also got held up as well, because Nosey and Verheyen actually overtook him. So that's dampened Mercedes' chance of taking the fight, well, basically winning the Constructors' fight tonight. Going to be a lot harder, as Nosey has had a bit of an off there. We got a yellow flag in turn one, so there must have been contact somewhere, or it might just be people moving out of the way of other people, I don't know. But let's get the...
Might have been that.
Yeah, it might have been that as well. So Jay Fletcher leads from Scorpion in second. Chris in third. Looking good for the Ferrari team at the moment. Meanwhile, Kieran and Riley Byes going side by side here, heading into this chicane as well. Keys, I think, gets the edge there, who's done quite well on this track before, and he's up into full position on those softs. His next target is Chris on the mediums. 6 temps, and he's going to be in a good position now, Kieran, but he's not going to when he pits later on in the race.
Well, Chris had a little bit of lag on my screen there, but the softs will only be good for a few laps though, so I think the medium runners have definitely gone with the correct strategies. There's been an off for the back. I think it's just okay. No, it's a McLaren of Nosey, who looks he has front wing damage as well now. So we might not be having many penalties, but we're certainly getting a lot of front wing damage.
Yes, and that was his right front wing that was lost completely. So according to Tass, and Nick's dropping down the field at the moment to 9th place. Kieran just gets past Chris at the start, finished straight up into 3rd. Riley, I think, wants to get past Chris ASAP, really, and I wonder what I would do if I was a soft runners. Would you concentrate and try and get in the gap down, as increase the gap as much as possible, because you don't want to be pushing too much, because the softs only last realistically in good pace around about 8 laps, as Casper gets past Dan Murphy for P11 on track. Don't forget the top 12 get points.
Nick there. And Dan Murphy and Casper, but as you say, battling away. Schnitzel flew past Nick down the second DRS straight down towards turns 4 and 5. So the Alfa Romeo team locking down 8th and 9th at the moment.
It's looking
Kieran
good.
Now splitting both Ferraris, so... And what... Yeah, Kieran splitting both Ferraris, so he's going to have to get the foot down now if he wants to build a big enough gap to get out ahead of Chris, unless he might be doing a medium soft strategy the other way around, so we'll have to wait and see, because these guys are going to be stretching the tyres to last to the end. So I don't think they want to make another 2 stops from now.
I wonder for some of these guys as well, will they be more people be going onto the hards like Knowlesy is as well for their next stop? We don't know about it, because if you pit on the hards now, there's no way you're going to make it. So Knowlesy again will probably have to hope for a late safety car. Meanwhile, Riley buys. I thought he was about 3/100s behind Kieran, but he's not. He's around about 3 or 4 attempts, because he's got
Rimpe up the inside
for
of
company.
Chris.
Rimpe going the inside, and he's got it. The AlphaTauri driver, yes he does, up into 5th place. He's doing well so far in this race, and he's looking to continue his good run of form for some races. Some races he's done bad, some races he's done very good. Mexico, it looks like it's going to be very strong for him on those soft tyres. Maybe the ones on the softs, they've gone for it, because the mediums are a lot harder in these overcast conditions.
Yeah, they might be struggling to get their medium tyres up for temperature a bit just now. Chris really struggling again this race. Not doing his title challenge any hope just now, as Jay Fletcher sets the fastest lap of the race, setting the pace over 4 seconds clear of the nearest car behind him, Scorpion.
Scorpion 4.1, Jay Fletcher, I think it's just, to be honest, we don't want to talk about Jay Fletcher, I think, until pretty much the end of the race. I think we're just going to have to wait until the end, and we'll probably see him being crowned champion. I think, to be honest, his rivals are out of the picture. If he doesn't get crowned champion, then I'll be surprised, to be honest. So, prepared to see a new title. Rimpe goes into turn 3, and is he going to get a good run on Riley with a DRS? 60% ERS. He's not even going to use the overtake, but he's not going to try in this corner, but he could try on the next corner. Looks like Rimpe's got some good cornering speed on Riley buys here as well. Heading up just before the S's section. We're starting to see a few fastest laps happen from these drivers as well, and we're seeing more penalties, I think, for some of the drivers. A few warnings as well. Riley buys trying to avoid the curves in the S's section at all costs, and yeah, Rimpe's a little bit too further away to get the move done, unfortunately. So he's going to stay in 5th, but I won't be surprised if he challenges him into turn 1 next lap.
You might not be able to. She's about to drop outside the DRS range after making a mistake through the stadium section, running a bit too deep in the hairpins, so that's going to cost him. He's not going to have DRS this time around on Riley, so Riley can breathe a bit easier just now. It's looking a bit further back. We have Vahanen gaining on Hindle down the straight. Don't think he's close enough to make the move into turn 1. He's going to try and line it up into turn 4, I believe. If he gets a good enough run out of turn 3, here we go. Through turn 2. Launching it out of turn 3. Will he deploy both DRS and overtake mode? No, he's not. He won't be sending it this lap, it looks like. It might be next lap, as Chris is now coming back onto this group of Riley and Rimpe, so he might finally gotten the medium tyres up to temperature.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it, Liam? I mean, he might be probably used for it at this stage, and we do know Chris is good with his time management when he does have clean air, of course, and he's looking to have some much better form than he's done in previous races, but the constructors are still within reach for the Ferrari team. It could still happen. Scorpion and Chris missed out in podium tier last season. They definitely do not want to miss out this season. It's still mathematically possible for either one of those two teams to do it, as Kieran had just set the fastest lap of the race so far, and for Kieran it's actually popped up another pit window, but it may just be Jeff telling him to do that, but probably they're going to ignore that, which is probably what I would have done, but you probably will have to pit in a few laps anyway, because there's no way the softs are going to last as long as they can, because obviously we'll have to do the 2-stop, and you've got to use maybe go onto the hards potentially. I think if Kieran wants a chance of a podium, the halves will probably be the best option.
Yeah, I think he's doing the sensible thing and ignoring Jeff, just like absolutely everybody who plays this game should do, because we all know by now that Jeff isn't the smartest of individuals.
Nope, he is not. But
I have a history of Jeff.
yeah, me too. I've sometimes followed, well, basically not followed Jeff quite a few times because, because sometimes he's wrong. I think one of them was me stretching the hards until the end of the race. I think it was in Bahrain, in career mode, and somehow I managed to do it on like 60-70% tyres. So it is doable, but I think that's what some of these guys will possibly be doing, as Kieran is absolutely pushing on Scorpion right now as well. It's the track starting to get a little bit lighter. There's a bit of sun starting to peek in the sky, as Verhainen actually goes fastest so far in the race on the medium tyres as well, but he's got a penalty. And is he going to get a better run this time into turn 1 on Hindle? He could do. He's got more overtake, I think, to use than Hindle. Yes, he does. Hindle's got around about 30%. So Verhainen, side by side. Oh, we got Schnitzel that was maybe going to challenge for a move as well. We still got a battle happening maybe near the front between Hindle and Chris, potentially too. It's just the train is starting to grow quite a lot.
Yep, Hindle all over the back of Riley, in the wrong place on the track through the S's. Dirty air will cost him a lot of time here. Pushing back into Chris a bit as he's dropping back to about 6-7 times, so he's going to have the stadium section absolutely nailed on if he's wanting to get ahead of the Williams into turn 1.
Yep, Rimpe, a few attempts in range of Riley Byes at this moment in time. There was a bit of a lag spike for one of the drivers on the screen. It might have just been my fault, but I've had my PlayStation on for quite a bit today, as a lot of things have happened. But Rimpe's got the DRS, he's got the better run, he's using his overtake to quite a lot actually, as he goes side by side with Riley heading in towards turn 1. Can he keep the run that he needs to heading in towards turn 2 now? Clipping the apex there into 3, and I think he just about manages, but I believe Riley is missing out on DRS, so Rimpe has done an absolutely brilliant job trying to attack Riley Byes on the same tyre, so that's Rimpe up to 4th.
Yep, absolutely. Well, standard move into turn 1 from the AlphaTauri man, but take nothing from him. He's having an amazing drive so far tonight, so keep an eye on him. He could possibly be a threat to the podium maybe later in the race. As looking a bit further back, we have, looks like Schnitzel on the back of Verhainen through the S's, so the Alfa Romeo man looks to have the better run through here, but crucially Verhainen has DRS on Schnitzel's teammate, which is preventing him from getting past, so he might get the double slipstream into turn 1 as Chris dropping back a little bit more towards Hindle, so Hindle might have the DRS, I don't know, as Verhainen struggles to get the power down out of some of the corners here.
He's lost a bit of time as well, Liam. He's lost way too much time on Hindle, so unfortunately he's not going to get the move, but Hindle, I don't think he's going to get the move on Chris in this lap. Nope, he's not. He should do, because he's on the softs and it's going to overheat too much, but I don't think Hindle's got nothing to lose, because he'll probably have to pit anyway, and Chris will stay out for a little bit longer on the mediums, and so will Verhainen. And I think that's it as well. Jonas, meanwhile, in 12th position for battle for the last point, gets past Casper, and a beautiful move there into turn 1 and 2. And but look at Casper though, he's still flying at least. He was one of the first people to jump the gun on the medium tyres, but he's one of the last out on the mediums at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. But it looks like he's not matching up to the pace of the other medium runners to take full effect of his brilliant strategy.
Verhainen picking up another penalty as the Red Bull man's still struggling to get past the Alfa Romeo in front of him, who's less than half a tenth ahead now, so surely if he needs to get the power down correctly out of this final corner if he wants to get a move done on Alfa Romeo. So here he goes through the final corner. Will he get the good enough run and get the power down? Yes, he will. He's got the power down smoothly enough. Hindle will not have DRS on Chris. Here he comes. Verhainen lining it up into turn 1, slipstream ERS and DRS open and activated. Sweeps to the outside and has the move done just before the braking zone into turn 1.
Brilliant
So the Red
stuff.
Bull man up to 7th. So could this possibly put Hindle back into his teammate maybe? It doesn't look to be close enough, Schnitzel. So, and he doesn't have DRS either, so he can't get past the Red Bull this lap. So these soft tyres look to be going off a bit now, so the medium tyre runners will start to catch up as Chris is all over the back of Rimpey and Riley by. So these guys have all got a small group and they're all spread out by just under a second, it looks like. So keep an eye out into turn 1. Maybe Riley can get the move done here. No, he's not quite close enough to send it into the stadium. We've got yellow flags as
Heinen!
Vahanen's off.
That's unfortunate after a great run he had at the start-finish straight earlier on, and he's got... Looks like he's picked up damage from that, but I will have to double check once I get Taz open up in a second. But yeah, that's a shame from Vahanen there, as he's lost quite a chunk of time on his nearest rivals, I have to say, as Kieran has gone into the pit lane
Here
as he's
comes
going
Riley
with Williams.
on Rimpey into turn 1. He's got to go round the outside. Here comes the Williams. Round the outside into turn 1. He'll have the move done into turn 2. Will Rimpey fight back? Really won't have the best line through there, but he will have the DRS going up to turn 4 crucially. But Chris all over the back of Rimpey now. Will he send it into turn 4? Here he goes. Not quite sending it up the inside, so Chris is going to remain behind these guys who should be coming in very shortly on the one tyre. Says Rimpey going really wide there.
Chris got
So
a better
that's
exit as well, by the looks
quite
of
a
things.
track extension from Rimpey there. As
Yeah.
Riley looks to be running away a bit.
Yeah, he is. I think him being the leading soft runner has probably helped him a little bit there. So great job to have Riley's performance so far as well. And to be honest, he's hoping for better form compared to some of the races this season, because he was involved in quite a few incidents earlier on this season. But maybe the last few races may change all of that, because I think there was a few races where Position had the least incidents. Last week, Position had the most, with about 8 or 9, as Rimpey goes into the pits.
Followed by Hindle.
And so is Hindle as well. So they're doing the same strategy as it seems, as they come in right now for another set of mediums by the looks of things. Yes, it is mediums. It's going to be a push to get it to the end, but let's see if they can do it.
Yeah, we've not had too much going on this race anyway. We've got yellow flag sector 3, which I'm not sure what it's for, as Vahanen is out of the race.
Safety car? So, pit lane. Or did he pit lane?
Pit lane. He's retired in the pit lane, it looks like. He's left the session, so Vahanen giving up, it looks like. So another unfortunate week for Red Bull after a good showing last week. Vahanen having trouble this week as working through the field. Nobody really in a place to overtake apart from Kieran on Jonas maybe on his fresh medium tyres against those 12 lap old mediums on the Red Bull in front of him, and Casper ahead of him. So Kieran could possibly get a move done here if he's brave enough. He's close enough anyway. Here he goes. Kieran is going to go round the outside into the stadium as Jonas lets him go through, realising that with his fresh tyres, Kieran is going to be the much quicker driver at the moment and maybe use that to his advantage to get past Casper.
Yep, he could do as well. Riley buys the leading soft runner, comes into the pits, but Schnitzel stays out on 12 lap old softs. I don't know how he's doing it, but maybe due to the colder temperatures on the track, maybe that's why he's keeping those softs to perfection. I will check Taz in a minute actually to see how his tyres are, but it must be very worse for Brad at the moment. And now there's a little bit of a lock up from Schnitzel there. We got a yellow flag in the S's section.
Sorry to interrupt, but we've got Kieran going up the inside of Casper now into turn 4. So Kieran on those fresh mediums, so fresh off of setting the fastest lap of the race, is going to keep fighting round the outside of that Williams, who refuses to yield yet on his older medium tyres. So this battle could rage on as F1 Farf is now out of the race, having retired in the pit lane.
Yes. To be honest, it was to be expected. He was having a bad race from start to finish, and who would have wanted to carry on?
On Real Mahoshian at the stadium.
Oh,
Here
they're
he
going
goes
for
at the
it. Here they
inside.
come. Rimday to the right. Ryan
Giving
tries
each
to
other
defend on
enough
the left.
space.
We've got Riley as well on the middle of it. He could capitalise if any of these two make a mistake. Rimpe tries to hold on. Look at Ryan Mahoshi all of a sudden. He stays in 10th for now. We got Schnitzel and Jonas in the pits. Ryan is trying to get Rimpe to have no slipstream, but Rimpe is not playing any games at the moment. Both of them just about leave as much space as they can. Rimpe, I think, is going to take the inside line, and yep, he gets P8 from Ryan Mahoshi and Riley Bides at the moment, but Ryan Mahoshi will have to pit anyway, so that's probably why, because his tyres are maybe almost gone, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see, of course. But everyone that was on the softs has pitted.
Yep, everybody on to the medium tyres now. I think Kieran might have got past Casper into turn 1, as because we were too focused on the battle between Rimpe, Real Mahoshi and Riley at the moment, but Kieran up to P6, as well as Dan Murphy, who's got up to P5 from basically the back of the grid. So McLaren man flying under the radar at the moment in 5th place, so good race for him so far.
Yeah, he started nearer down earlier on in the race. He had a few troubles as well, so it's good for him to have a nice comeback. Usually he likes having comeback drives, which help him win the race. We saw that in Vietnam last week as well, but the rain coming soon, a bit later than it did, definitely helped his cause a little bit. As well as we got Riley Bides, Ryan Mahoshi and Hindle. They're still going at it once again. Hindle is going to probably get a better entry into turn 1, but Ryan Mahoshi is probably going to be having none of that. Heading towards turn number 1 now. Can't quite get the move done, and I think that's helping Riley Bides as he's able to pull away from these two. Casper getting a 3-second time penalty due to multiple warnings. That's more woes to add to Casper, which may affect the end of his race. Hindle now heads into the next section, and he's just trying everything to get Ryan Mahoshi and Riley Bides to make a mistake, but it's going to be a lot difficult than you thought. You wouldn't want to be stuck with someone who's on a lot much older tyres than you. 14 laps to be precise from Ryan Mahoshi.
Yeah, he's definitely dragging those medium tyres as far as he can at the moment, and Kieran is on the back of Dan Murphy now in the final sector, so Kieran's set the fastest lap again, so the Racing Point man is absolutely flying at the moment, so keep an eye out for him. He should be getting the move done into turn 1. Has much better traction off the final corner. Overtake mode at the ready with DRS. Here he goes. He should have this move done nice and easy. Sweeps to the right hand side and past the McLaren and back onto the racing line into turn 1. Schnitzel now sets the fastest lap of the race on the soft tyres in his Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, but you get a point when you're inside the top 10 and you're outside the top 10 as well. So 2 chances for people to get fastest lap points, and wherever you fall, you got to aim for your bracket. So if you're inside the top 10, aim for fastest lap inside the top 10. If you're outside, aim for the fastest lap outside. It is as simple as that. But I'm going to be looking at Ryan Mahoshi's tyres at the moment to see what his memes are looking like, because it's almost, I would say, past Ryan Mahoshi's sell-by date at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. But probably the colder temperatures have definitely helped a lot with this situation. So let me just have a look. Ryan Mahoshi, he's on 64% on the rears, 60% on the rear right, so he is struggling. He's got to pit very, very soon for his next set of mediums, or maybe the softs if he could push it out for a few more laps.
As Dan Murphy is into the pits, same with Casper. So those two off their older tyres now. Dan Murphy onto the softs crucially, so he's got to try and stretch those to the end now. Same with Casper, who's out on soft. So these guys are going to have to drag these tyres to the end pretty much, past the cliff at this point. As Kieran still going well up in 5th place, no one really close enough for an overtake at the moment, apart from maybe the guys who've just come out the pits and are on the back of Jonas here, but I don't think they will be close enough. Might not be, although here comes Dan Murphy with the run out of turn 3. Will he send it? Yes, he will. He's going to go up the inside into turn 4. Jonas still fighting back around the outside. But here comes Dan Murphy, crucially sweeping around the outside and up into P11 now for the McLaren.
Yeah, brilliant job for him. Don't forget, he's still in the points if he stays like this, as we've got the top 3 all in the pits together. Jay Fletcher on the softs, Scorpion is on the softs, and Chris is going to go into the softs as well. Double stacking, I think, worked out okay for the Ferrari team, but not quite as much. We'll have to wait and see. Nick comes in as well, so they're all going on to the softs, which will last until the end of this Grand Prix, and that's allowed the likes of Kieran, Rimpe, Riley Byers, Hindle to get the undercut on Chris, Schnitzel and Nick. So that's worked wonders, I have to say, on them, but we'll see what happens as we're on lap 25 of 36. Look at the gap between first and second. 9.2 seconds is the gap between Jay Fletcher and Scorpion. I'm going to be checking Taz to see how many warnings Jay Fletcher's got. He's got no warnings. Squeaky clean. How was he doing it?
Champion's drive from him tonight, looks like. Must say, champion's drive from him. Kieran up into the podium places, so if he can get those medium tires to the end, then what a drive it'll be from the Racing Point, as it might be one of his second or third podiums this season. So a quick driver on his day, but just not quite really been able to break into that podium position too often. As here we go, Chris on the back of Rio Mahoshi and Schnitzel here. Surely got to get past these guys as soon as possible, having been held in the pits. Here we go, Schnitzel should have the move done on Rio Mahoshi relatively soon, despite not having much ERS, but will have that much more speed on the Haas driver. But here comes Chris now, he's going to go past Rio Mahoshi now. So he's lost 2 spaces, well, 2 places in the space of like 50 metres almost. The Haas driver, as Chris now lining up Schnitzel. And so we have yellow flags in sector 3. Who's it for? It's Okeke who spun it.
That is a shame. I think maybe go on soft, try go for fastest lap, because that's still possible if you're in outside the top 10. So he's probably going to go for that. I would have gone for that, to be honest. That's how Okeke's got quite a few points this season, and it's worked wonders. So and I do see softs in the Renault garage for him. So there he comes in for the soft tyres. So more challenges for people outside the top 10 to contend with as well. Still a few contenders for people inside the top 10 to get fastest lap as well. Chris still on the back of Schnitzel. He's got past one driver, but he's got to get past Schnitzel, otherwise the dirty air is going to hinder the tyre temperature. It's going to be even hotter. And don't forget, the Oxman tyre pace is around about 8 laps. So you're probably going to be almost past their sell-by date, as Ryan Mahoshi finally comes in to the pit lane after being on those tyres. 78% wear on the left, 72 on the rear right. How did he not get a puncture?
Must have been staying off the curbs as much as he could, really, to avoid punctures. Because that is very, very close to puncture territory, if not in it. As Chris has almost no ERS left now, having got past the Alfa Romeos, and is now on the hunt for Hindle. Nobody quite close enough to make a move on anyone yet, really, it looks like. Closest guys on track being Schnitzel and Chris, but I don't think this will come to too much. So I've got a bit of a quiet period in the race, it looks like, so not quite the chaos of last week. We've had a relatively well behaved race from everyone this time.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to check as well who has made their compulsory 2 stops. Everybody. So everyone has made 2 stops, with a KK making the most with 4. So I believe Ryan Mahoshi was the last person to pit for his mandatory 2 stops. So no one is going to get disqualified. Schnitzel on Chris. But I don't think he's going to challenge him, because obviously Chris is on the fresher tyres. His next opponent is Hindor, as KK picks up another one. Almost someone in And the prospect here almost got disqualified from the race, but I think it was due to him getting a stock go, which helped him not get disqualified from the race, which was good news for him, I have to say. But if you get 10 lots of 3-second penalties, you will get disqualified, and I have to see if anyone's close to that. Maybe OKK, but I don't think anyone's going to get to that extreme to get disqualified from the race, as Riley Bice picks up another one as well. Only 4 drivers to get a penalty. That could change the race up massively.
Yeah, almost, well, everyone in the top 10 on penalties, apart from, crucially,
The Mercedes
both
drivers.
Mercedes drivers. So they're very well behaved as Chris going round the outside of Hindle now. I'm watching from on board with Schnitzel. Round the outside into the stadium. He's just about got moved on his teammate. Schnitzel on the back of him now. He's got a better run for the final corner. Oh my god. Schnitzel doing a bit of Tokyo drift. Past his teammate. Sliding it past. And now after the Ferrari ahead of him, but he has no ERS left in that Alfa Romeo. He's going to have to send it into turn 4 if he's wanting to get past.
He's going to do all he can, of course, but it's nice that the Alfa Romeos are working together. They're going to try and score as much points as they possibly can now, because obviously there's nothing to lose. They're out of the championship fight for both championships, but they just want to have some fun. And I know Schnitzel and Hindle very well, and they do love having some fun, so I think I'll be very impressed with where they are at the moment, and they're probably going to jump up a few positions because Rimpe has got 6 seconds worth of penalty, so they're going to be affected hugely by this, as we're on lap 30 out of 36, as Jay Fletcher's just started lap 30 with Scorpion about to cross the line start. Here's lap 32. Nick is probably going to be chasing Hindle as well. Maybe Nick could be coming with a comeback here at this moment in time. Could we see maybe a challenge to the constructors? Don't forget, the gap's got to be at least 38 points between Mercedes and Ferrari in order for the title to be wrapped up for the constructors. And Nick's doing all he can to see if the title constructors are going to Brackley this season. As Nick goes to the left-hand side of Hindle. No challenge there as Nick gets past him up to it. I don't think he needs to do that, but he wants to try and get as many places as he can, as he's on the soft tyres as well, as he's 8 seconds now behind Schnitzel, and most crucially, a few seconds behind Chris.
Yep, I think Nick was cut out near the start with that first double stack, so it's dropped him a bit further down the field than he would have liked. So he started P4 and could have had a podium going into turn 1 right at the start of the race, so quite unfortunate from Nick here. But he's gaining on Schnitzel now, who is giving up, well, has dropped back from Chris now, so I don't think he really has a hope of getting past that Ferrari now, so he's going to have to start looking in his rear view mirror shortly. As there's a Mercedes bearing down on him at a rate of knots. He's looking a bit further up the field. Rimpe is slowly closing in on the back of Kieran for that last spot on the podium now. With Riley not too far behind them either. So if things go, well, if these guys battle too much, we could have a freeway battle for the podium, as Rimpe getting DRS because of Okeke's car being close enough to give him the DRS on Kieran. So not what the Racing Point would have wanted, and it's letting him catch up even quicker. So Kieran's going to really have to watch his rear view mirror now.
Nick's got past Chris, no, Schnitzel I mean, crucially in fact, to help him try and go and eat into the time on Chris at the moment, but it's going to get to a time where the softs are not going to be at their optimum pace, and maybe the mediums may be the best. We'll have to wait and see. Don't forget, the two Mercedes and Ryan Mahushi has not got a penalty, and I'm a bit shocked about Ryan Mahushi being the other driver not getting penalties, but to be fair, he's keeping it. I think he's mainly been spinning, and that's pretty much it as well. So I'm just looking at if he's got any warnings, Ryan Mahushi. He's on 2, so a few more and he gets a penalty. Schnitzel has, I think, going to be picking up another penalty because he's probably on another warning.
Here comes Rimpe on Kieran down the start-finish straight. He's close enough, 5 tenths back. DRS open, not using his ERS though. He's saving up the ERS for a little bit. Kieran not using it either, just letting him pass and hoping that he can get past later in the race now, as Kieran picks up a penalty there through turn 1 for a little bit of a corner cut. So I'm going to have a nosy at how many penalties each guy has, as Rimpey has 3 separate penalties and Kieran only has the 2, so if Kieran can stay close enough, he might get the podium on penalties.
Yeah, which is what you want, of course, and if it's one of those tracks to get penalties, it's definitely Mexico and USA. I think those are the 2 tracks where a lot of people get penalties, and if you do not get penalties, then you're probably a machine, and especially if you're Jay Fletcher, for example, is 14.5 seconds behind, clear of Scorpion at the moment, which is very good, as we got a yellow flag. That is a KK moving out of the way, I think, of Hoshi, I believe. Yep, it is. It was a lap down of everybody. Casper spun as well.
During the S's.
Yep, and I think that's not given too much notice for his tyres, because his tyres are probably overheating.
Kieran and Rimpey down the start-finish straight, so Kieran wanted his podium back on track. He's got the overspeed. Here he comes up the inside. Will Rimpey fight it? Yes, he is. He's going to sweep around the outside. Kieran not backing out, though, and fighting it around the outside as Rimpey picks up another penalty. Kieran will have the DRS up towards turn 4, so these guys battling is really helping Riley, who's now in DRS range of both of them, and so is Chris and Nick have caught up to this small train that's beginning to form.
And with Nick having no penalties, he could be up to 3rd. Could this be the momentum Mercedes needed to take the title to Brackley? We will find out. This could be just getting no penalties may help Mercedes seal the title today. And that'll be music to both Mercedes here, I have to say. And with Nick playing the wingman today, but he must be probably pretty happy with this result, as I think Kieran and Rimpey are just giving it their all. I think I would probably find it very hard to choose a driver of the day between both of them at this stage, but they're both driving ever so well, as Rimpey had a bit of a wheel spin by the looks of things. Yellow flag is set to 2, that is Williams again, that's probably Casper. Yes, it is, again at the S's section. It could catch people out. We've got 3 laps to go of this race. Rimpey once again. They're going side by side. They're just giving it their all at the moment. They touch wheels ever so slightly. Heading towards turn 2. Kieran going side by side once more now as he gets a better exit. There he goes. Kieran up to 3rd. Riley Bider's caught up to this and says, if you can't get past Kieran, I can. Heading into this next section then. To the left, Riley goes, and he does it. But Kieran is like, I'll see you later. He wants to get the move. He's going to be 4 wide almost. They almost touched the Racing Point and the Ferrari. This is absolutely insane.
Well, we're going to have a dramatic end for the battle for the podium here, as Kieran basically being pushed through that little section there by the Ferrari and AlphaTauri there. So, having given it his all, maybe his tyres are a little bit gone.
Rimpey may have got a warning for that. I will have to double check Taz. But Kieran has hit Chris. Hopefully that's not any damage, but that's allowed Nick to catch up as well. This is, I think Nick's going to get the podium if he can keep with this lot. But what is he going to do? Is he going to stay behind, or is he going to challenge? Because if he challenges, he may risk of getting damage if he doesn't make the move stick, but we'll have to find out. And we got a yellow flag. That's Casper again, but watch out for Chris. It looked like Chris was running out of hers, so was Kieran as well. I think pretty much everybody's running out of hers at this stage, so we'll have to wait and see. Dan Murphy is going side by side with Schnitzel, heading towards turn 3, and yep, Dan Murphy gets the jump on Schnitzel, but Schnitzel's having none of that. Dan Murphy also running out of hers. You can see the red warning light as well, which shows that they've run out of hers, which is something I have learnt this week, as Kieran has had a bit of a lock up there as I'm on the final lap of this race, and Jay Fletcher is 1 lap away of being crowned the season 17 Precision Cheer champion.
Yeah, just going back to Nick here, was basically pushing Kieran through most of the track, early parts of the track, through sector 2. So he's going to be impatient to get behind, because being stuck behind Kieran for too long could ruin his chances for a podium as Riley looks to have pulled away crucially from Chris and Rimpy here. So
Keep thinking
Nick,
what the yellow flags are, but it's just Casper. Here we go, Nick. Now got the run on Kieran, then side by side. This could be the edge that Nick needs at this moment.
Rimpy around the outside of Chris.
Nick
No,
will catch
quite.
up to that. We'll have to wait and see. I think we're gonna unfortunately drop away from this battle as Jay Fletcher's gonna go into the stadium section now. I'll let Liam watch the battle with at the moment, but Jay Fletcher has been consistent all season. He has never put a foot wrong. He's driven fantastic today. Jay Fletcher comes across the line. He wins in Mexico, and he's your season 17 Precision Tier champion. Congratulations to him. Well deserved for him.
Coming through the final corner now, and we'll cross the line in P2. Another decent result for the Ferrari man. Riley going to lead the train through the stadium section, just about 2 seconds clear of Chris now. So Riley showing definitely has the pace to pull away from these guys. Too bad he couldn't have got it done earlier. He'll round the final corner now to take P3, but will he get it on penalties as Nick gets his corner? A final penalty there.
That might have cost
So
the
he crosses the
podium.
line. Yeah, I think it might have, because he's crossed the line in P5 behind Chris and Riley. So
Ooh.
Nick cost a penalty right at the death there by the podium because of that penalty. So
And on the final lap as well. And I'm looking at TAS as well. The Catboy, I don't know how Catboy Key has done this. 90% on the left tyre, front left tyre, on the mediums.
that would explain why he's being pushed around the track half the time.
Yep, indeed. And I'm going to have to do some maths, I think, to see if Mercedes have won the Constructors' Championship. I don't think
know.
so.
Nick finished behind both Ferraris, so
I'm just going to have a look. So Jay Fletcher scored
bust out the
21.
calculator.
Nick has scored 10. So that is 31 points. Scorpio scored 17. Chris has scored 12. I'm sorry, I'm doing maths here on the spot, ladies and gentlemen.
The calculator has emerged.
Yes, I think Ferrari have just about done enough. But if you want to find out if they have done enough, check OneHubRacing Twitter. If you don't see a constructor's tweet there, Mercedes have not done enough. But we know who's done enough for the drivers. It is Jay Fletcher, your season 17 drivers champion, wins the race and takes the fastest lap as well. So he's done the hat trick as well as claimed the title today. His race has gone perfect for him. Scorpion second, Riley Boyce third, Chris in fourth, Nick in fifth, Dan Murphy sixth, Kieran in seventh, Hindle eighth, Schnitzel in ninth, Rimpe in 10th, Jonas in 11th, Ryan Mahoshi gets your final points, and we got Nosey, Casper, and a KKB in your final finishes, and your retirements are Fav, Verheyen and Tom Robbo. So it's time for us to come up with a decision who is going to be our driver of the day, and I'm going to have some time to think about it. I'll let you go first.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that, because you should know that I'm going to pick Jay Fletcher, because
I know you were. That's why I'm thinking of someone else.
Let us hear it then.
You pick Jay Fletcher. What's your question?
Well, I'm going to ask Jay Fletcher. You haven't always been the fastest driver on the track, but do you think being one of the most consistent drivers in the tier has contributed to you being the drivers' champion?
And I wonder if he's going to get some champagne after the race, I have to say. I'm sure his teammate Nick will probably be celebrating that as well. So I'm going to pick someone else for driver of the day. And I was pretty tall. I was going to give it to Nick, but he just picked up a penalty. But I'm going to have to give it to Riley, because that move he made earlier on and the call that he did earlier on the sauce was perfect, and he only got 1 3-second penalty as well, and he managed to get a podium because of it. So my drive of the day will have to go to Riley, and my question is, will this be I can't think of a question. I need to try and think of one. You showed some poor performances during the season. Could this be the start of things to come for you in this tier and next season? And a big congratulations for him for a 3rd place. So there we go. That is it then for the position tier. We hope you enjoyed it. We have a new champion, but we still have the constructors to be decided. I'm glad Jake has one title to crown next week. At least he doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have 2 already being crowned there as well. But yeah, you'll be able to vote for your drivers of the day in our OneHub Twitter poll tomorrow, and you also will get to hear the answer of the questions as well. And finally, Liam, do you want to go through our sponsors one more time?
This is why I don't do the sponsors usually, because I usually have the memory of a goldfish.
Yeah, I was going to say something else there, but I won't. But you don't have to say it. As long as someone says it on the stream, that's fine. But anyway, make sure you follow our sponsors, Next Level Racing, who are providing real stats to go and get Tap Award winner. Time to Print 3D that's got the 20% code for the key rings that they produce each week for every track. Vespertina also sponsoring the prizes this year, and also Liam RPS, who's also sponsoring the trophy, so make sure you check those out. And it's been a pleasure filling in for Jake, and hopefully he is back next week. Thank you, Liam, for joining me in the commentary box.
Yep, it was good to have you here. It's always nice to commentate with you, because we don't really get to do it often. Despite being teammates, we usually don't get the chance to do comms together, but
now we did.
It's still a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun still.
Yeah,
having to put up with me for even longer now.
Yeah, because we joined the party around about, I think it was like 5:45. We usually leave about 25 to 7. It's now 9:10. There we go. So we've been there for almost an hour and a bit. Anyway, thanks for listening.
So,
we will see you. Well, Liam and Jake will see you next week for the final round.
Unless you want to join us next week and have 3 commentators next week for a surprise.
No, thank you. I'll let you and Jake do it, because I think you'll be good at it. But anyway, they will see you next week for the final round, Japanese Grand Prix. Will Mercedes take the title, or will Ferrari be the ones to stop the charge there? We'll find out next week. See you soon. Have a good evening and good night.